A long time ago, on an island called Snake Island, Queen Asa woke up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding. The snake goddess had visited her dreams, delivering a prophecy about the distant future. Relief washed over her as she realized her people would survive the centuries. She glanced at her sleeping daughter Asana, replaying the goddess's words in her mind. There will be a clash once again, a battle between the snake people and the hunters. Asa, you will be among them, leading the charge. Did this mean she would live for centuries? The snake people were known for their long lives, some reaching 250 years. But after the brutal war with the hunters, their lifespans had mysteriously shortened. Seasons passed, and with the passing of Queen Asa, the prophecy became a legend among her people. It was said that her return would be marked by an unmistakable sign. Many doubted there were any living descendants of Queen Asa, believing her bloodline had been lost to time. Others, seeking power, claimed to be Asa reincarnated, and factions formed around these false leaders. The snake people, once united under Asa, fractured into groups, each following those who claimed her blood. They longed for the leadership and unity Asa had once provided. The impostors fed on this thirst for power, further dividing the community. But change was coming. The hunters were soon to be sighted again, and with their return, Asa's bloodline would awaken. For it is said that blood does not lie, it keeps an accurate record. The prophecy was about to unfold, and the snake people would soon find out that their true leader had never left them. You are watching the Tales of the Savannah. Subscribe and be part of the tribe. Now let's get back to the story. That evening, Amina and Dr. Kofi found themselves kneeling once again, surrounded by the 12 members of the council and the Queen. The atmosphere in the room was tense. The Queen began to speak sternly. Amina, you have broken many rules before even setting foot in our sanctuary. You have carelessly shown your true form to humans, endangering the lives of our kind. You have also brought an enemy among us. Who knows how many will follow your scent here? Her gaze then shifted to Dr. Kofi. And you, Hunter, your skull will join your ancestors in decorating my throne. Dr. Kofi cleared his throat nervously to speak. Kind Queen, if I may speak. I will not deny a man his last words, the Queen replied sharply. Thank you, O wise Queen. I came here not to cause any harm, but willingly to save Amina's life. I admit I was careless in my movements, and I've had time to contemplate how you and your people might perceive my intrusion. I offer friendship, and my intention is to unite our sides, not to see more bloodshed on either side. Wise Queen, you know the nature of hunters. If I had disclosed your location, they would be descending on this location as we speak. His words stirred some murmurs of agreement from the council. As Amina listened, she felt a tingling in her toes intensify. Why am I transforming now? She thought in horror, perhaps triggered by the hunter's presence. The time was 7 p.m. Suddenly she fell to the floor, transforming before their eyes. Dr. Kofi stepped back, fascinated by the transformation, realizing he might be the first and last hunter to witness such a spectacle in the wild. The Queen was annoyed. The bastard snake girl has not mastered her gift, she scoffed. Call the healers. 3 healers rushed in, forming a circle around Amina. They began chanting, their words soothing to her bones. Amina felt the difference. The pain was gone, much to her relief. She bowed her head, awaiting judgment. My apologies, my Queen, for not having control over my gift, she said, bowing in respect. The room fell silent. Had they all left? Amina wondered, still bowed. You can continue, my Queen. There will be no further interruptions, she added after more silence. What was going on? Why was the room so silent? As she lifted her gaze, everyone's face was filled with shock. They looked at Amina in awe. Amina had fully transformed. It was undeniable that she was a descendant of Queen Asa herself, the defender of the snake people and protector of their kin. This was the sign they had all been waiting for. The snake crown on her head had not been seen in centuries among the snake people, and now here it was, a clear sign of Asa's return. They all bowed before her, including the impostor queen. The impostor queen, still bowing, spoke with reverence. Amina, descendant of Asa, we are at your command. Guide us in these dark times. Amina nodded, her mind racing. Rise, all of you, she commanded. We have no time to waste. The hunters are a real threat. and we must prepare for the battle ahead. The council members stood up, their eyes fixed on Amina, waiting for her next command. Dr. Kofi, still in shock, stood silently at her side. "We must unite the scattered groups of snake people," Amina continued. "Our strength lies in our unity. We need to find the imposters and bring them here to show them the truth." Amina spoke with authority, her senses heightened. She could smell hunter blood. She turned to Dr. Kofi sharply, hearing his heartbeat and smelling his blood. But it wasn't him, it was someone else. The scent was faint, but it was the scent of a warrior of old. Amina looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each council member. "Prepare the defenses. Call upon our allies. We need every able-bodied snake person ready to fight." The room buzzed with activity as the council members dispersed to carry out their tasks. The imposter queen approached Amina, her head bowed. "I served in the name of Asa, but I see now I was wrong. I pledge my loyalty to you." Amina placed a hand on her shoulder. "We need everyone. Your knowledge and experience will be invaluable." "How is our relationship with the merfolk?" Asa asked Tina, the imposter queen. "Not so good, my queen. There have been a few misunderstandings in the past." "You will take me to them soon. They are the reason we are here today." "Yes, my queen," Tina said, bowing and leaving. Asa felt a sudden sadness come over her. It was Amina. She closed her eyes. "Amina, are you there?" "Yes, my queen," she said softly. Asa was startled. She had thought she had completely overtaken the body, inhabiting it fully. It was the goddess playing tricks on her. The goddess loved a good joke. "Amina, please accept my apologies for overtaking your body." "No, I am the one who should be thanking you. You probably saved my life, Queen Asa." "What would you like to do, Amina?" Asa asked, realizing the complexity of the situation. She was a guest in this realm and body, so she had to work together with Amina if anything was to be done. "I would like to go home," Amina replied. "But this is our home now," Asa said. "Yes," Amina replied sadly. "If it pleases you, my queen, I would like to have some of my belongings here." "I can send someone to go and fetch them for you," Asa said. "No, please, Queen Asa. I would like to say goodbye to my old life." Asa sighed. "Very well, then." In truth, Asa was afraid of losing Amina, her only connection to this realm. Amina had to be kept safe at all times. She was a weak vessel, not as strong as Asa remembered her own body to be. If they were to work together, serious changes would have to be made. "You and you, let's go," Asa pointed to Dr. Kofi and a decent-looking warrior man. "Do you trust your doctor friend?" "Literally with my life. He saved me," Amina said. Asa hissed, "Hunters can never be trusted. We will keep him close for now." They walked in silence except for the conversation happening in Amina's head. They had a lot to talk about, and Asa could not wait to see the outside world and the changes that had happened in her absence. Kwami arrived in a small town that had an old-world charm, with quaint shops and quiet streets. He parked his car and walked into a dimly lit bar, feeling the eyes of the locals on him. Approaching the bartender, he ordered a very specific drink that Baba had instructed him to request. A serpent's bite with a twist of venom. The bartender's eyes widened in shock. "No one has ordered that drink in a long time," he murmured, pressing a red button under the counter. Kwame felt the tension in the room spike. Suddenly, a black bag was thrown over his head, and he was forced to the ground, restrained by unseen hands. Kwame was impressed. He hadn't heard them come in or approach him. It was as if they were ghosts moving in and out of this realm at will. They did not speak to Kwame, nor did he to them. The doors of a vehicle closed, and they sped off. Kwame estimated the drive lasted about 20 minutes. The car moved at speeds he didn't think possible without crashing. When they arrived, Kwame was led into a stark white room with a single desk and a chair opposite him. As his eyes adjusted to the harsh light, he saw an imposing figure sitting across from him, a man of immense stature, with muscles rippling beneath his shirt, resembling a modern-day titan from ancient legends. The man repeated the drink order from the bar, a serpent's bite with a twist of venom. "How did you know to order that drink, Kwame?" Kwame was startled. They even knew his name. He had purposefully left all identifying documents behind, and his car was registered under someone else unrelated to him. I was advised to come here by Baba, my mentor, after a violent spiritual encounter with a snake girl who had been interfering with my business for a while. Is there anything you can tell me about this snake girl? Huge snake, glowing eyes, and I don't know what to tell you. But wait, there was something strange that happened. When I fell to the ground, the snake came closer. Not in a threatening way, but as if to observe me like it was curious. The man nodded, taking in the information. Thank you, Kwami. Tonight you will be sworn into the Brotherhood. A hair was taken from your head for DNA testing. We will know from which hunter-warrior you descend. Kwami's mind raced with questions, but he remained silent. The man across from him stood up, signaling the end of their conversation. Two men entered the room and guided Kwami to another area, where he would await the results and prepare for the initiation ceremony. Kwami sat in his room, unsure of what he had gotten himself into. It seemed like he had no choice but to be initiated into the Brotherhood. Though he wouldn't have said no, it would have been nice to be asked. A primal part of him resonated with this place, like it was home. The door opened, and a beautiful woman walked in. Hi, I am Nala, named after my ancestor, the consumer of humans. She giggled, then noticed Kwami didn't get the joke. Nala, she was married to a human, and her blood is more powerful. It's a genetics joke, she stammered. Shit, she muttered under her breath. Kwami smiled politely and nodded. I've been asked to show you around. Okay, I volunteered. But around here, that's the same thing. Let's go, Hunter, she said, punching the air in excitement. A flash of embarrassment crossed her face. It had sounded better in her head. Kwami chuckled at her reaction. She was cute, he thought. They walked through the corridors. Kwami had never seen a place like this. It was like being in a futuristic spaceship. There was so much to see and take in. Nala led the way, describing everything in detail and how it related to the past, present, and future. There were many doctors in this place, scientists, archaeologists, and experts who studied human and serpent bodies. This is the sect I belong to, the Healers. Why do you study mermaids too? Kwami asked. In the last Great War, mermaids were the deciding factor. They helped the snake people win. History has a way of repeating itself, and we don't want a repeat of that, Nala explained. They entered the biggest gym Kwami had ever seen, filled with modern machines and obstacle courses. The hunters moved with incredible speed and agility. Everyone here was impressive. Kwami, who was always the tallest in every room, now found himself surrounded by men and women who were equally, if not more, imposing. As they walked around, the men and women nodded, acknowledging their presence. This was a big, happy family, something Kwami had never experienced in his life. And what is this? Kwami asked, looking at a sword in a glass case in one of the rooms. This is proof of the existence of the snake people. Long ago, this sword was presented to the council elders by the great warrior Kabo alongside Hunter Olu, the only hunter to ever visit Snake Island alone and live to tell the tale. Nala lit up as she told these stories. Her smile was infectious, and Kwami couldn't help but smile. Finally, they stood in a room with many names written on the walls. This is the Warrior Memorial. The names written here are those who were lost at Snake Island. Whenever you come in here, light a candle, a vigil for those who lost their lives on that fateful day, she said, a tear falling from her eyes. There was one more room to see, the museum. It was a grand room featuring old weapons, armor, bows, and arrows, all preserved. In the center of the room stood 6 statues: Kabo, Zoro, Nala, Themba, Olu, and Sia. These are the warriors who found Snake Island and have become the legends we all aspire to be. This is the winning team, so for centuries hunters have hunted in sixes: 1 leader, 2 healers, 2 trackers, and 1 mystical lore keeper. We have 1 tracker on my team. I hope you are a tracker and will join my team, she said with a smile. They arrived back at his room and Nala disappeared into the corridors. It was almost time for the initiation. Kwami knelt before the man he had met in the beginning. His name was Jengo, the leader of the hunters. As he began to speak, the room fell silent. He welcomed everyone to the ceremony. "Kwame," he turned to him, "are you willing to join the ranks of the Brotherhood? This is a decision of great importance and carries significant responsibility." After what he had experienced in the past few days, there was no going back to normal. There was no normal anymore for him. He looked in Nala's direction. She smiled. "Yes, I do. I am," he said, blushing and looking down. This was a pledge, not wedding vows. With reverence, Django began to chant the ancient welcome. "Welcome, Hunter Kwame, direct descendant of Hunter Zoro." There was an audible gasp from the crowd. There had been many hunters of old, but being a direct descendant of the Big Six was like winning the lottery. This was a rare find. The hunters whispered among each other. Kwame was a bit confused. He thought everyone descended from Zoro. He kept his head down. Nala smiled. No wonder she felt drawn to him. Maybe an ancient flame could be rekindled. Just maybe. Django cleared his throat and the room fell silent once again. "Welcome, Hunter Kwame, direct descendant of Hunter Zoro, scion of the shadows, bearer of the ancient lineage. From the veiled realms of our ancestors, your spirit has emerged. With each step, you inherit the whispers of the hunt, and with every heartbeat, the legacy of the trackers pulses within you. May the stealth of our forebears guide your path, and may the wisdom of the shadows be your silent ally. Embrace the secrets woven into your veins, and may your journey be chiseled into the fabric of our enduring legacy. Welcome, Kwame, to the fellowship of the hunters." The hunters unleashed a resounding warrior cry, a collective roar that echoed through the room and reverberated in the night. Back in the city, Amina searched her room. "What are we looking for?" Asa asked. "Books, journals from my grandmother. They must be here somewhere," Amina replied, rifling through drawers. Asa was fascinated by what humans had done with the place. She had asked questions like what became of Snake Island and other related queries, but Amina had little knowledge of that. "So, people live in these tall boxes?" she asked, observing the high-rise apartments. "Let me take over, okay? You'll get us hit by a car," Amina said, taking control of the body as they crossed the street. "What is a car?" Asa asked with fascination. This was indeed going to be a long night. As Amina continued her search for the books, the snake man they had come with waited outside, a silent observer and protector. Dr. Kofi slipped into the bathroom, scanning through his missed calls and messages. They all asked for his location and if he had discovered the snake people's whereabouts. He had lost his signal in the tunnels and had a lot to report. With trembling hands, he began to type a message. "I have found their dwelling. It is within the tunnels." He typed the coordinates to the entrance of the tunnels. Queen Asa suddenly stopped and listened. "Where is your friend, the doctor?" Amina could hear the fast-paced heartbeat as well. Before she could answer, Asa transformed them into a huge snake with 2 heads. They both looked at each other, shocked. This was truly remarkable. Dr. Kofi typed the last few words. "Prepare for war." Before he could hit send, the door flew towards him, and he fell to the floor, the phone sliding to his side. Amina saw the message and nodded for Asa to attack Dr. Kofi. With his last breath, Dr. Kofi smiled and hit send. The room stood still. It was like the trumpet of war had sounded. Meanwhile, back at the initiation ceremony, a hunter discreetly delivered a message. "Hunter Kofi has sent us their location. We have found them," he whispered into Django's ear. Django turned to Kwame. "Hunter Kwame, rise and join your brothers," he said with a smile. "Hunters," he declared, "make ready for war." The hunters once again unleashed a resounding warrior cry, a collective roar that echoed through the room and reverberated in the night. And that, my dear tribe members, is the end of yet another episode in our Snake People series. You had a lot of fascinating predictions in our last episode. Were you correct in your predictions? Do you think we should bring the mermaids into this saga, an old ally of the Snake People? Let me know your thoughts. And as always, thank you for watching our story, and we hope you enjoyed it. What lessons did you draw from this story? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the tribe. Thank you for watching The Tales of the Savannah. We will see you next time in the savannah.